Hello everyone, this is Croooow, and today I'm going to be looking at BurgerTime Deluxe for the Game Boy. Now, I used to have this game a long time ago, and I'm a really big BurgerTime fan, and I recently had the itch to play this game again, so I hunted out a copy on eBay. I had it for a couple months, but finally decided to buckle down and play the game. I like looking at these pictures on the cartridges. I think this is an older BurgerTime image because the eggs in this game don't look like that. They have the shells in this game as opposed to the previous game. I'm actually going to be playing this game on the GameCube Game Boy player using my Hori digital GameCube controller. Let's pop this in. And play the game.
Now, right off the bat, I want to mention that this isn't really a port of the arcade game BurgerTime, but rather it's BurgerTime and a half, or it's an upgraded BurgerTime. What they've done is they've added in power-ups and a couple new enemies. I think actually just one new food monster, and they kind of put together a storyline. As we can see here, Peter Pepper has a burger joint, and there's an evil nut and donut right next door, and the owner, I guess, sends a hot dog after him. And that basically sets the premise for the game. You're trying to run your business while Nut and Donut is sending all these food monsters after you to try and put you out of business, let's say. The gameplay for the game is exactly as it was in the arcade version. You run over the tops of the burgers, which drops them down a level, and if there happens to be any food enemies below you, they get smashed. If a food enemy happens to be on top of a patty or a layer that you're running across, when it drops, it'll drop down multiple layers. You still have Pepper, which you can use to shoot the enemies and stun them, so you can get by them or basically stop them, make it easier for them to fall on the patties or whatnot. And Pepper Shakers show up throughout the level randomly, which you could pick up to add more pepper to your inventory. But that's one of the things that has changed in this game. There are more items to pick up in the game. Not only you have the pepper shaker and the coffee cup, which also gives you one more pepper, but there are also fries, which cause all the enemies or the food monsters on the board to just disappear. And then there's a chocolate bar, which gives you invincibility for a few seconds. And then there's kind of this weird thing. It looks like a potato chip to me, but it turns all the monsters into hot dogs. All of the food monsters in the game have their own AI, and the hot dog is the easiest AI to predict. So by turning all the enemies into hot dogs, you can easily make them follow a certain path. There's also a 1-up that appears occasionally in the game, and they'll give you an extra life. Another addition to this game I really like are the doors in which the monsters come out of. In the original game, they just came off from the side of the board, but in this game, the doors open, they come out, and you can actually walk through them for a few seconds, so you're not surprised, and you're not cheated out of a life by just an enemy that came out of nowhere. Another thing that's changed about this game is that there are a limited number of levels. There are 24 levels broken up into 6 areas. As the areas go on and on, the boards get harder and harder, but they don't repeat. Once you beat the 24th level, the game is over, you see an ending screen, there are credits, and it's a kind of a downside to the game. But on the other hand, once I got to the 5th and 6th areas, especially the 6th area, I had to keep playing it over and over and over again until I beat it. It was really hard. But if you do lose all your lives, you can continue back to the first section of the area you last beat. And at the end of every area, you're given a password. So you could turn off the Game Boy, turn it on, enter your password in, and continue from where you left off. But as I said before, you can beat the game. And once you beat the game, you can go back and play the game again and try for a higher score. The game is kind of fun, but because the game ends, I have to give the original BurgerTime a 1-up in that respect. However, this version of the game does seem to control a lot more smoothly. I mean, Peter Pepper, it is always moving constantly the same speed. I remember in the original BurgerTime, he kind of moved weird up and down the stairs. Not saying it was bad, it just didn't seem really, it just was really weird. But in this game, it seems a little bit more natural. Another thing that's a welcome addition to this game are the intermissions. I'm going to be closing out this area 1-4 pretty soon, and once you clear out a whole area, there's a little cutscene that appears. I'm waiting to get that burger. Okay, he finishes, he jumps up and down, and then you're clear. It'll give you a password, which I'll skip by, and then you see a little cutscene. And and some of these cutscenes are really funny, especially the one where he's going down the rope and catches on fire. I'm actually going to post another video of just nothing but the cutscenes for this game, because they're pretty funny, and I'm always amused by these cutscenes or intermissions, like the Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man, and BurgerTime Deluxe has them. Original BurgerTime, I don't think, had any cutscenes, but I could be wrong on that. As much as I liked that game, I wasn't really an expert at it. And now that we're in Area 2, you can see the game gets a little bit more difficult. Some of these burger patties are a lot longer than the previous one. That's another thing that changes up, is the size of the burger patties. Also, the area is now big enough to where the screen has to scroll. And that is something that happens from now on in the game. The screen scrolls. In Area 3 or 4, there's no walls to the level. The screen will just keep scrolling. And it kind of threw me off at first, because I kept going to the right, and I never hit a wall until I realized, hey, I've been here before. And what I've done here is I've just skipped ahead to the final area of the game, just to give you an idea how this game looks on when it's, the difficulty is full force. It doesn't look that hard, but I died several times. Yeah, you got the hot dogs, you got eggs, you got that giant donut now that appears in Area 6. Not only that, but it is so easy to get trapped in a dead end in these stages, and you really have to know where you're going and not to get trapped. But I finally figured it out, beat the game, and that's that. I mean, if I had to rate this game, I'd give it a 77 out of 100. I mean, I like BurgerTime. I think the original BurgerTime is still a better game. The power-ups in this game kind of does make it easier, and the fact that the game ends just kind of ruins it for me. And as we can see at the end, Nut and Donuts gets crushed by a giant hamburger. Well, that's that, and thanks for watching, and what I'll leave you with is all the deaths of Peter Pepper as I was playing the game. I've sped up the footage a little bit just to make it go by faster. See you next time.